spirits of the Nephilim, the Ancient Ones.
Hello and welcome to the Blue Post Roundup for the last week in February. This week we got some reassurances on the PC version of Diablo 3 as well as some clarifications on how the PS3 and PS4 version will be working and how they will work together or the lack thereof, as well as a nice reply to a lengthy, ever so lengthy community members post. So let's get to it. The first one is the Diablo 3 is coming to console, and there was more just clarification of Blizzard got its start in the consoles, and to my memory, Diablo 1 was on the original PlayStation, StarCraft was on 64. I do remember playing that once and realizing, no, I'll just take the PC version. And now we're going to get Diablo 3, and tell you the truth, we knew in beta there were screenshots and mini videos of it working with a Xbox 360 controller at the time, so it's kind of weird that it's on a PlayStation, but who knows, maybe they'll work in it for the 720 or whatever the next Xbox console is going to be. Moving along, what we probably could have expected is going to happen. Cross-platform characters are not going to happen. So if you want to play on the PS4, you have to start from scratch. You'll have no gold, no nothing, as well as have to work for it all over again. Some people may like that, and some people won't. I think people who are pretty much on the PC version, who invested hundreds of thousands of hours, pretty much stay there, won't really mind this. Others may actually enjoy it if they get the PS version, especially if you're a kind of person who likes playing with a controller. So all this kind of leads to the blue post of that. Of course, they're not giving up on Diablo 3. They still have content patches. I mean, come on, we still know there's a few balance patches with other classes, as well as PvP that they have to get out, as well as a few tweaks to the core systems that have not been played around with yet, as far as legendaries, itemization in general, and I don't know why, but tweaking around legendaries again. But we'll get to that shortly. To further proof of that, the next Ask the Devs is planned for March, or closely after March. The topic seems to be around itemization, which I feel is a very good, strong topic to go with, as far as what the players want, what the players are aching with, and I have my own opinions, but I think I'm going to leave that to a Let's Fix episode in the future. Moving along, the next one that stuck out was the gear customization blue post that kind of came out of nowhere. Most people like this. Basically, it's going to boil down to the Diablo 3 equivalent of goblins. Look up WoW transmogrification. Sorry if I'm not saying it right. Not going to be exactly that. We don't know what it's going to be like. I don't know if they know what it's going to be like fully, but hey, at least we'll avoid the rainbow clown effect on gear. We'll be able to look the way we want to. But on a side note, if I remember correctly, the whole point of the endgame gear being what it is was supposed to signify how badass you were of a player, and having the non-good looking gear was to show that you were some way not as good. Now, that may not sound fair, but if everyone can look the same even without the gear, doesn't that kind of dilute the purpose of the higher end gear even more so? I don't know, just my thought. Lastly, bringing up again that very lengthy community members post, which I'll make a link to in the description. One of the game designers, Travis Day, came on and actually responded to each section. There were a few surprises. There were a few we expected that. I still have more than one issue with the original OP and the way he went to fix issues by basically taking out a lot of what he didn't like and throwing in what he liked, kind of submitting one system for another one, but you think it's good, bad, or indifferent. I'll leave that to you. It's a very lengthy read. But essentially, a few things that were omitted was that there may be too many items, and they may be looking to dumb down the amount of items and raising the quality of the remaining all the way up. So that's why each item is a quality font. As well as admitting that the auction house can be an issue, which everyone pretty much knew, but people tag it as a problem for different reasons. The auction house, in my mind, is all fine and good and really doesn't do anything. The only reason why the auction house is bad, in my mind, is it allows laziness. The scarcity issue that Sipco brought up in a podcast that we did. Basically, it relates all back to that. There's no scarcity. You can go to auction house and find what you want. If the auction house did not exist, as Travis Day said, then you may not even see those items, or you may get what would be considered a lackluster one, say 3 crit damage, 25% crit damage, 3% crit, and 4 attack speed. But that would be considered good because you don't have the auction house to look through, and that would also help with progression and so on and so forth. There's a lot that goes into consideration with all these systems because they're also tightly interwound as far as itemization, as far as the class, the abilities versus the gear versus the weapons versus the progression versus the difficulty. They're all intertwined. You basically take one, elevate it a certain percentage, you break the rest of the game unless you fix it, and that's the issue with this game. As well as, I personally think they're balancing it in reverse. They're taking the end game, the end stuff, doing it first rather than focusing on the core classes and doing that. But we'll leave that for a Let's Fix, as I said in the beginning. And that actually does it for this week. The new background music, I just want to say a quick thank you to Incuria. In fact, I may just put a link to it in the description if you want to download it. And that's about it. So as always, like, comment, subscribe, and one little extra PS on this little blue post. I may be headed to PAX East. May not. Have to let you know in the coming week or two. Clarify. And I'm going to be working on getting over to BlizzCon. Like I said before, have the hotel room and feel pretty confident I'll be able to work it out. So as I know stuff, I'll let you know as the community. Have a good day.